Blaine and Mickey 104.5 The Zone. It's Victory Monday and Snowy Monday. How about that? Went from 72 to 28. Blaine's breaking stuff. This, if you're watching on Zone TV, it's like the Blair Witch Project. Hey.
And I tried to move it, and it came off its clamp.
I don't know what we're doing in here.
We're looking at the ceiling, but, hey, the sky's the limit because the Titans won, right?
Somebody please pull this video. Please, Lucas, we have to tweet this out, how this train wreck started here.
I've got a part of it, but the camera just froze.
That's what you need to know.
All right, we got to get your microphone over there by your mouth, Hitman, so people can hear you prognosticating here.
Okay, yeah, fight DMD. Yeah.
Always. Oh, you got your Fight DMD hat
Yeah,
on.
that's what I said.
Yes, shout out to Terry Marlin and his crew. Happy New Year to them and to all of you.
Yes.
Victory Monday for the Tennessee Titans. A lot of history happened yesterday. They had never won. So I tweeted before the game all the things that they had never done that they had a chance to do. They'd never won the South twice in a row, and the AFC South has existed since 2002. They'd never won it twice in a row. They'd only won their division 3 times total, the AFC South, since it started in 2002. And they hadn't won consecutive division titles since they existed the first 3 years as the Oilers in Houston. They won it in 60, 61, and 62, and they won the first couple of AFL championships. But all that came to a screeching halt yesterday. They beat the brakes off the Dolphins 34-3, second straight AFC title. And Blaine, son of a gun, Kansas City lost just after that. Titans are number 1 seed in the AFC, and if they win at Houston, they'll have home field advantage all the way to the Super Bowl. That's one heck of a crazy afternoon over there at Nissan Stadium.
Yeah, well, they just control what they can control, and they won, and then things kind of fell in place, man. But, it's kind of shocking that the Titans hadn't won back-to-back. I even went back, and in my mind, when we were playing, I don't know why I felt like we did, but we didn't. We finished 13-3 the second year in Jacksonville, who we beat twice, finished 14-2. And then we beat them again in the playoffs. So, man, that is pretty remarkable. When you told that stat there on Titans radio there right before the game, I was like, what, since 1961 or 60 years, you said?
60, 61, and 62. And this is 2022. 60 years.
This is great times for the Titans fans. And I don't know if you'll ever be able to eclipse, that first year with the Titans, first couple years, because we had a great run, because it was the first year. And the only way you can really eclipse that by doing things like this. Setting records. And that's what Vrabel, JR, and the players are doing. And it's hard not to like this, I guess, put on your, hard hat, blue-collar type players and coaching staff and get after it. It's not sexy. It's not exciting at all times. Besides, if you're a true Titan fan, to watch this style of offense, it's run, the football, and play great defense, and that carries into the playoffs. And, man, they did it in great fashion. And hopefully they get the number 1 seed. All they have to do now is beat the rival in the Texans in the AFC South. And, man, it's history, man. That's put you at, 12 wins.
Yeah.
Wow. That is, man, tip the cap to Vrabel, JR, and the actual players, and all the players. It's been a great team effort all across the board, from the guys that they picked up that everybody said they were, couldn't play.
Bobby Hart.
Yeah. And those guys who contributed, and then to the guys that are actually been out there the whole entire time, man. So, man, they've done a fabulous job, and wow, man, only pieces left. Now, everybody's talking, they're getting healthy. They are, and then most of the guys back are off COVID and everything else. So, trying to get them up to speed, be sharper. Only piece left is Julio. If they get Julio to just be a good Julio and stay healthy, they will bring home the prize. Thank you. Good job there, Lucas. Yeah. So, man, if that happens, and if he's a great number 2, all he has to do is be as good as Corey Davis. Let's get it. He can be that just as soon as he steps on the field if he stays healthy. Get him at least 5 targets. They will be tough to beat. I don't care where they play. Yeah, so that is real talking, and naturally we all know the king will be back. When and where and what time, who cares? We know he'll be there for that first game in the playoffs, whether he's in the last game or not. So man, the Titans fans should enjoy this time in the process, and don't worry about what everybody's saying nationally and everything else. Just enjoy that this is a really good team. They're going on the right track into the playoffs. They're going to be tough to beat. Yeah, so enjoy it because they could go on this run here and bring home the prize.
We got to talking about this yesterday. So, of course, we do the Lee Company countdown to kickoff and Titans Talkback presented by Lee Company, and it's Blaine and Dr. Smooth, Kevin Dyson, and me, and we were talking about that year 99 because I think everybody just looks back and think, well, you guys went to the Super Bowl. You're 13-3. You won the division.
Yeah, we thought we won it back to back. Yeah, we won it back to back. Oh no, we did.
And that was the old AFC Central anyway. That was even the Central, but the Titans or the Oilers never won the Central 2 times in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But Titans fans hate the Ravens for how they've ended a couple of the best seasons in Titans history. The Titans are the Ravens to Jaguars fans because they went 14-2 that year in the regular season, and the only loss they had was to the Titans. And their third loss that year was one. They lost 3 games the whole year, and they were all 3 to you guys.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened? I mean, because you know me, I like an obscure stat. I don't know if a team's ever only lost 3 games in a season and all to the same other team. Think about that. That's why and they're a nice bunch down in Jacksonville. But you said anytime you talk like Leon Searcy, who was on that team, he's like, you can just hear it in his voice.
Yeah,
like,
it perturbs him because, they had a great team, and, it just we were blessed for just making enough plays to win that last one. But, man, it's hard to beat a team 3 times that is a playoff caliber and as good as they were. And so, yeah, I wouldn't want to rerun that and replay that. It'd say, we could do it again. No.
Well, and Fish had said it's our other home field, and then you guys had to go and defend it.
What do y'all think the discrepancy is in the all-time series between Titans and Jags?
It's got to be just about dead even.
It's 34-21.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, Titans 34-21, the advantage.
Oh, they've just beaten the snot out of them the last few years.
The Ravens one is almost dead even.
Yeah,
that
okay. I'm thinking of Ravens. Yeah. The Titans have owned the Jags in recent years. Let's go to the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Speaking of quick stats, our buddy Alex Apple is on the line. He said he's got a stat for us. What's up, Double A?
Give us a stat, man.
What's going on, boys?
Hey.
Happy Victory Monday. Let me tell you
Yes.
how excited Titans fans are. This is what my dad said to me. Now, we've been going to games together for 23 years, sitting in the same section. He said, man, weren't you in a great mood yesterday? I saw him at the office today. I said, yeah, I was. He goes, man, it was like I went home. I was so happy. It was like having the best Christmas ever. Now, this is a 60-year-old guy. He doesn't get that emotional that often. I thought, man, that's an awesome encapsulation of how Titans fans are feeling right now. But, hey, I just wanted to hit you with this quick thought. I tweeted it out this morning, and I think it's incredible. 985 rushing yards in the 8 games since Derrick Henry went out. In the 8 games with Derrick Henry, they had 937. They got 48 more rushing yards, carries only 9 different, 228 to 219, averaging 4.3 yards per carry. Now, that's a lot of credit due to Hilliard, maybe Deontay Foreman as well, but also the Hog Mollies up front, man, doing a great job to be able to, especially these last couple of weeks, open up and block. And that's 985 yards with not much passing game to speak of for a couple of those games. So, man, it was just wild. And I think, now it's different. The game plans for defenses are different without the king back there. But I think that speaks to how the team steps up and sort of encapsulates exactly what everyone's been talking about. They've developed some depth because they've not had these guys.
Mm-hmm.
They've not even had a healthy offensive line the whole year. Anyway, just wanted to hit you with that thought. Blaine, Amani Hooker let one get through his hands yesterday. You got to talk to him about that.
No, I don't think I'm the one to talk to him about that. That's happened to me like 50 billion times, man. Yeah, I can't catch. That's why he told me to talk to him. Talk to him about how not to catch it. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Alex. Appreciate it.
Fellas, love the show. Talk to y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guy who hangs out with me sometimes when the hitman is gone, Alex Apple. Yeah,
no doubt.
Good Morning Football, I think, did something on that. Chris Harris from Channel 4 had also tweeted out that they essentially had the same number of carries and almost the same number of yards. Now, the interesting thing was they had the guys, Foreman, Hilliard, McNichols, and Peterson, who spent a bit of time here, 212 carries, 945 yards, 5 touchdowns. The King, in his first 8 games, 219, 937, 10 touchdowns. those guys have done the best job that they could to each one fill his role and fill in that hole. But the most amazing thing to me is this, and Blaine, you said it when Henry went out.
Yeah.
100%, they're not going to change what they do. And we said they'll just have 3 or 4 guys who try to equal one guy. So
they actually topped the King.
219 carries.
Three or maybe 4 guys topped him.
Topped him, just barely. On 7 carries different. So they stayed exactly who they were. Here's the thing, though, that made me kind of laugh. There have been 2 or 3 times where we come on, actually more than that, where we come on in the postgame and said, okay, that play by Foreman, King scores.
Yep.
Like yesterday, the play by Foreman.
The quarterback, counter.
Right.
Henry scores because he's just elite speed.
So he had 10 touchdowns in his 8 games, and those guys have combined for 5. So literally on those other 5, King scores. That's the difference between when you have Derrick Henry or 4 other guys doing their best to fill the gap for Derrick Henry.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, he's a special player. But it also shows this offense from a coaching point of view. You may not have an elite guy, but if you get in the crunch and maybe years down the road, you have to run this offense and have to do it by committee, it can be done because this is a representative of that. And you may not have the one elite guy, but you definitely can do it. And, it depends on where money's at and where you're trying to reallocate it. And And it shows actually as much as, King is probably the MVP of this team, even though he didn't play, but half the season or so, is that the receivers really were the ones that were missing for Tannehill to really make this offense very productive, and more so A.J. Brown because Julio hasn't given us very much at all so far, at least because of his health. So I would say they filled the void for the running game with the King with those 4 guys. And then now with A.J. Brown back, the offense was starting to click a little bit more on the same page. And it goes back to all the things I've talked about before is about trust. Trusting. And he didn't have a big day, but he had 2 catches for like 41 yards or so. But he impacted the game in more so ways than you can't even equate. Then they ran the football, and they just were the better team. As we saw it, I thought they were. And then once the defense outplayed their defense and our offense kind of, ran the ball right down their throats, it was going to be an easy victory. It reminded me in the 90s type of play, even if you want to compare it to ours. That's how it's just not sexy. But then when you watch them, it's just very methodical, disciplined football playing, well-coached teams that know what they are, who they are, and how to attack you. And that's what it looked like. And those teams have a lot of success when it comes to the playoffs. So whoever the Titans play, I don't care what national media guys are saying about, Titans are a fake number 1 seed and they're overrated, this and that. Guess what? Every single team in the AFC, they do not want to play the Titans. I promise you, because the physicality of the way that they play is unmatched. And by the way, the mental psyche that goes into playing a team, you can beat them, and they know that you can. So if they don't have their best shot, they're going to lose. So the Bills, the Chiefs, we can go down the list. They don't want no parts of the Titans, so they know they're going to be in for a hard-fought battle. And the way this team is built now with pass rush, they can beat the elite. So that's all I used to talk about last year is they need to have pass rush and be somewhat like Tampa, where they're better than Tampa. Yeah. With Archery now getting 9 sacks. What? A D tackle? Okay. Yeah. But that's not even talking about Simmons, and Dupree and Crew Landry, 12.5. Yeah. Was it 12.5 now?
12 or 12.5, yeah. They have 41 as a team. They had 19 last year.
Yeah. So, guess what? The Titans coaching staff, they were proven right.
Yeah.
They said it was the players in a roundabout way. Yeah. That's what they kept saying. I said, well, they're really saying it's the players.
Yeah, yes, you said that. Yeah.
It is the player because there's different players out there with Archery and Dupree, and all of a sudden Landry has a career year. Oh, wonder why. Contract year. Yeah, well, let's hear that too. As much as I don't want to say that that's the reason with him, I think he still plays with the same motor. Just got better players around him, and they're playing better. And he's playing a little bit better. And they're getting better covers up. That half a second that he was missing on sacks now is a sack.
Yep.
So, man, it is just exciting to see it and just see the fan base rally around. And then, hey, all in all, I'm happy that Tannehill got to beat the Dolphins. Yeah, I am. because I was impressed that I saw Tannehill jerseys in Dolphins and Titans jerseys at the stadium.
Yeah. You said, how often do you see that?
How often do
Not
you
very
see that?
often in the same game.
Yeah. I mean, man, that was pretty cool to see. So he didn't get to see it, but maybe family members or friends or, would maybe told him. But I'm sure he could care less. But, hey, that's still pretty cool.
Yeah, one of the guys said after the game they were in a huddle late, and he said something like he didn't mention it all week, didn't mention it the whole game till the very end, and he had said something. He said, I'm not going to repeat what he said, but it was something about beating these guys. So he just kept everything in check, went out and did his thing.
Well, I told you that he was being Mr. Nice Guy.
He was
because
being
that's-
very nice.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yep.
He's a class act guy, but at the end of the day, you're a competitor, and that's who makes you who you are. And whenever you get slighted, even if it's in small fashion, and it probably was the right move for them as well as him.
Yeah.
But, hey, it's almost saying that we don't need you anymore. Well, I'm going to show you still need me because guess what I'm doing? Chalking up win after win after win. And right now I'm potentially going to be on a run here that hasn't been done by most quarterbacks that's in this franchise's history. So right now I think you told me yesterday he was 6th all-time in wins as a quarterback, somewhere
I
around
think
there.
Dyson said that. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's the most 3 wins of anybody in the first 3 years as quarterback of this franchise, and that's Warren Moon or George Blanda or Steve McNair. That's anybody.
Yeah. Well, I got to play with Warren Moon, and he was a special player my first year in the league, his last with the organization, but he was a special player as far as his talent, man. He was, oh, man. Yeah.
Teresa Walker, she's got special talent with the Associated Press, set to join us next.
And we also got some news on who?
A little bit. There's
Dupree.
There's something being investigated with Bud Dupree. Emily Proud Scoop Nashville had the report first. Emily Proud of News 2. Metro Nashville Police investigating a physical altercation at the Walgreens on Rosa Parks Boulevard involving Bud Dupree, several people with him, and 2 employees. She reports the dispute began after an employee began videoing Dupree with his phone. No charges at present. She said, from the Titans, we are aware of the situation and are gathering additional information. That's what's come out. Again, Scoop Nashville had the scoop. This is Emily Proud talking about that. So anything happens during the show, we'll certainly let you know. We can actually ask Teresa Walker about that and more next as she joins us on Blaine and Mickey. Monday to you. Happy AFC South back-to-back championship Mondays to you. Happy 2022. Is this the first Monday of 2022? It is? Boy, it's the best kind of Monday right here. And Monday. Oh, you wanted him to part his hair on the other side?
Oh, that's right. I told you, new year, same me.
Throw it down, flip it, and reverse it, Lucas.
I wanted Lucas to part his hair on the other side just to see if we could have some more good luck. He said he's already had great luck.
He's Brazilian and Italian. He's Britalian. He's the Britalian stallion, Lucas Panzica. I'm Mr. Word Combiner. I can't combine Teresa and Walker, but we will combine her into the show now.
The legend right there.
She is a legend.
And Hall of Famer, right?
Every week it seems like she joins a different Hall of Fame or something. Teresa, how in the world are you doing? Happy New Year to you.
Well, I'm doing good. It's been apparently a newsy kind of Monday. You know, we just got off the phone or the Zoom, with Mike Vrabel just about an hour ago, and you know, they've been talking about when do they start letting Derrick Henry practice. So, you know, we've been talking about this team getting healthy over these last couple weeks, the mini bye after the 49ers game. But let's be honest, the one question that was still out there is Derrick Henry, could they have him back for the playoffs? And, you know, guys, it looks like it might be close to happening.
We were having that discussion, Teresa, and for him it's like, okay, what do you do? Because if you beat the Texans, and you should, even without him, he could rest literally for 2 more weeks, and that would put him at, 11, I think, since the initial surgery. Or, as you know, some of the national reporters have suggested, you know, the Titans are considering letting him knock some of the rust off in week 18. What in the world, if J-Rob calls you and says, Teresa, what should I do?
Yes, Hall of Famer.
Yes. I mean, you covered all the Titans teams. What would you say to J-Rob? Here's what I would do.
Guys, it's all going to depend on how a few things. How Derrick Henry's feeling. You know, the reports are that he's been working out on his own over there. You know, we've seen the videos of his amazing workouts, you know, in the off season. It's all going to depend on how he's feeling and how that foot's feeling and how he's doing. You know, you want to win and clinch the number 1 seed on Sunday for sure. You want to have him fresh and available for the postseason, whether that's the wild card round or the divisional round. It's all going to come down to how he feels, how he looks on the field. And this isn't going to be just simply a Derrick, I'm ready to go decision. There's going to be, you know, we may have to look for a puff of smoke coming up from St. Thomas Sports Park, you know, for the idea. But if he is ready, if you think he's ready to go and play in a game, you know, say they activate him before Wednesday's practice and he practices Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and, you know, he's looking like the Derrick Henry we've all come to, you know, expect, then you go ahead and activate him, because why not? You do have something you're playing for on Wednesday. There's no giving. You lost to the Texans the last time out. The Texans beat the Chargers 2 weeks ago. They pushed the 49ers yesterday. You know, a team that you would think is just ready to hang it up and go into the offseason has been fighting. So you can't expect that you're going to go in there and they're going to roll over for you. So, you know, it's going to be the thing that we watch the most this week, because if he can knock some rust off, so to speak, and then you get a bye, then you've given him 2 weeks to you know, rest up and continue practicing and getting into the groove. And then, guys, I'm going to go back to this. Timing does matter. You know, you've been having success with your run game. You know, the numbers are kind of eerie. The one big difference, though, with Derrick Henry, you've got 10 touchdowns. Yeah. They scored, I think, 6 rushing touchdowns, and I think 4 of those are, you know, whatever. A bunch of them are coming from Ryan Tannehill. So, yeah, that's the thing. You do get a benefit with Derrick Henry when he is Derrick Henry on the field, and that's where the decision's going to revolve around. You know, how healthy is he? Is the timing there? Is the chemistry? Is he Derrick Henry, 22, the stiff-arming kind of guy we're used to? And that's the, I don't even want to say $1 million decision. That's the you know, $1 trillion decision for this franchise coming up this week.
We're on with Teresa Walker. You can follow her at Teresa M. Walker. She covers the Grizz. You can follow the Grizz covers. She tweets about food when she goes to Memphis. You will want to read those tweets. And lots of other great things on her Twitter. As Blaine said, she's also a Hall of Famer, and she's on with us now.
Yes, T. I guess you've been in all the interviews. I haven't been in any every year that Vrabel's been here. I'm going to kind of ask you a question: what you think he would prefer in this, thought process on Henry? If he is fully healthy, do you think Vrabel would actually play him in a preseason, let's get our feet wet role and see how much we can get out of you and see how your foot responds after having, let's say, 10 carries in a last game versus the Texans? If he's fully healthy, what do you think he would do?
That's a great question, Blaine, because what we've seen Mike Vrabel do, from his very first game, that horrible weather-delayed longest game ever
Dolphins,
in the NFL game in Miami, Taylor Lewan had a concussion. And he told him, it's like, you're not playing this next week. Just get over the concussion. And we've seen that over his 4 seasons, that if a guy is injured, be safe rather than sorry. Go ahead and give him another week. You think you're good, one more week to be sure, which, makes me think that, they might just activate Derrick Henry to practice, but let him not play on Sunday so that you can give him the extra time before a playoff game to get healthy and to be at his best. So, that's based on past history, would lean to Derrick Henry not playing Sunday. But then again, we're talking about a situation where you can clinch the number 1 seed and avoid a trip to Kansas City. Shoot, I think the Buffalo Bills would have a chance. If the Titans lose on Sunday, maybe it's Buffalo who ends up with the 1 seed. You want them coming through Nashville, and that might be the reason that you do go ahead and play a Derrick Henry. So, again, we're going to be watching this all throughout because, that push-pull, it's a real thing. And, I'm going to go back. The health of Derrick Henry is going to be key. When we found out that they used a plate and 5 screws to do the repair, Pro Football Doc on Twitter was the first, I think, to say, usually this is a 6 to 8 week thing. Think closer to 10 weeks. And Sunday will be 10 weeks from the day he hurt that foot. So, that's it. Guys, I wish I could give you a definite, yes, he's going to play Sunday, no, he's not. But we're just going to have to watch this day by day.
We're on with Teresa Walker, Hall of Fame sports writer. And I guess that leads me to this. With all the turnover in the lineup, whether it was injuries, COVID, you name it, who is the MVP of the Tennessee Titans this season?
Ooh. Guys, I'm going to give you a name that you're probably, is coming a little bit out of left field, but I'm going to say Ryan Tannehill. And the reason is this. He's been the guy who's been in the field. Yes, he's been sacked repeatedly. Yes, he's had, a bunch more interceptions than he's had in the last couple of seasons with this team. But he's been there, and he's been in the lineup. He's the guy who drove them down the field to come back against the 49ers when they were down 10 at halftime. He's been the guy who's been getting the ball down the field. And, this run game, Derrick Henry, really took off when he got Ryan Tannehill in that backfield with him because of his quick decision-making and, his ability to run as well and execute the play action game. So I'm going to lean to him. Now, of course, you have, several options there for the backup. Kevin Byard with his 5 interceptions, Harold Landry, who's now up to, I think, 12 sacks or so. I'm losing count. D'Amico Autry's had a big impact. So, there's, 88 players have played this season, and you could look at each one and say that they've contributed a piece. But I'm still going to go to the fact that you've had Ryan Tannehill week in, week out, and he's answered the bell for you on each occasion. And, you don't win 11 games without Ryan Tannehill. I'm just saying that.
Well, one more tough question, and only you can answer this, T, is if you dress, let's say Henry doesn't play until the playoffs. What running back isn't dressing?
At this point, I'm probably not dressing Dontrell Hilliard. I know that he returned a kickoff yesterday, but, let's face it, Deontay Foreman has 3 100-yard rushing games for this team. Now, he's very similar to Derrick Henry, but, so maybe you go with Hilliard because he's got the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, but you also have Jeremy McNichol for that. So the idea of being able to pound somebody with Henry and Foreman, that's awfully attractive if you ask me.
Cool. We're on with the best. Yes, Teresa Walker, the Hall of Fame sports writer.
Amen to that. Teresa, let's talk about Julio Jones. I think a lot of people were hoping maybe he would be in that MVP candidacy for the Titans, and it just hasn't come about. Teresa, when he plays, he doesn't seem to get a lot of action, and then a lot of times he just doesn't play. What do you think we see from him possibly in this last week or leading into the playoffs? And what would it take for you to say that was worth every penny from Julio at this point on?
If he catches a key pass in any playoff game, I'm going to say that it was worth every penny. Because, guys, if that's the thing, they made this trade. They could have, maybe coughed up the money for Corey Davis or signed somebody else, but they went to get Julio Jones because, anyone remember what he did in that Super Bowl game for the Falcons? He put them in position to win a championship. It wasn't his fault that the play calling wasn't so great, and they ended up blowing the 28-3 lead. Julio Jones was a huge key in that game, and so if he can catch a pass that gets them a touchdown, gets them a key first down, puts them in position, that's the thing that's going to be key for this team moving forward. Because let's face it, I still maintain that the trade was made to help them most in the postseason. Guys, last year against the Baltimore Ravens, let's not forget, Corey Davis was hurt in that second half. It allowed them to kind of double team on A.J. Brown, and that allowed the Ravens defense to focus on shutting down Derrick Henry, and they did to win that playoff game. With Julio Jones on the field, it's tough to double A.J. Brown because if you do, there is Julio. And, now the challenge is he's been on the COVID list. We're waiting for him to be reactivated. But if they can get the bye, that's good for Julio Jones as well as the Tennessee Titans.
Can you believe that this team has never won back-to-back division titles since 60, 61, and 62?
It is weird, right? But, I also I remember the 2001 season, and, that was a tough year where, after 2002 or the 2000 season, the expectations were that this team was just going to keep rolling. And, Eddie George had the toe injury and, they didn't quite make it. And in 99, you go 13-3, you'd think that'd be a division year. And no, the Jaguars had a little bit better season. Yeah. So, yes, you would like to think this franchise has done it more, but here's another number for you. If the Titans do win the number one seed on Sunday, will be only the third time they've done that since moving to Tennessee. So, 2000, 2008, and I guess at this point you're just hoping if you're the Titans, you're not seeing the Ravens again in the postseason.
Oh, Teresa Walker, our guest here on Blaine and Mickey, bringing up the Ravens like that.
Yeah, bringing heat like that. Yeah, T. I appreciate you, though, always. Who was the bigger find? And the reason what made me think about this on the Titans roster is because now they lost Pruitt. They got to find another big find, maybe a tight end. I don't know if it's on the roster or a change of role or picking someone off the practice squad or, someone that's sitting out there on the couch. But who existing on the roster, and we all know the running backs, what they're doing, but kind of give us a list of guys who you say, hey, they had some huge roles in it and they really impacted the team, whether it was big or small.
Well, Austin Fort, actually, Blaine, is on the practice squad as we speak. Yeah. 6'4", 244 pounds, and this is his third NFL season. So he's got some experience, and he's been with this team. So probably the guy that they turn to first to help fill that spot because, at this point, it's getting a little thin. The fact that you were able to sign Deontay Foreman, off his couch on November, I think, 2nd, and he's come in here and done what he's done is pretty impressive. To try to find somebody in January, that's even more challenging, I'm just saying.
Well, I kind of have a blind eye to this question, and that is because of my experience. And that is every time I had a bye week in the first round being a number one seed, I lost. Our teams lost that next game, the second game, which was winning their first game, our first game in the playoffs. A lot of people brought up this question, is having a bye week really the same or different than a bye week in the regular season?
Well, Blaine, I do remember those losses after the bye.
And I thought
I was going to the Super Bowl in 2000, I'll just say.
Me too.
I think we all did, Teresa.
And, by the way, I want to throw the stat at you. You can check it if you want because I'm not sure if I'm all the way right. I'm guessing how many Super Bowl champions won and had a bye the first round. I think it's only one, but I'm not sure.
Actually, I think to get to the Super Bowl, though, more teams over the last few years have benefited from having a bye. So
Uh-huh.
I
But
haven't
have they
had a
won
chance
it?
to see the
No,
Kansas City did.
they one
Kansas
time.
City
That's the one.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the most recent. So recency bias. I'm going to say it doesn't hurt, but I can't remember. I think it was Music City Miracle Mike something, and I apologize for not remembering his Twitter handle. But he had the stat this morning: the Titans with Mike Vrabel coming off of any bye, bye week, Thursday night game, that they're like 8-0 under Mike Vrabel in those situations. So they find a way to make that time off work for them, rest up, heal up, hone in on an opponent and really coach guys up and get them ready for those games. So at this point, Blaine, the past is the past. You can only deal with the present and the future. And for this team, I'm just going to say that a bye week wouldn't do them a bad thing.
And lastly, who's on the list? Give us a top three. I know Vrabel's in there of Coach of the Year candidates, and why?
Well, Vrabel, because, again, NFL high 88 players used. You lose Derrick Henry at week 8. It's to see what they've done now, winning 2 of their last 3 games, I think, coming off the bye, or 3 of 4. That's not easy to do. People were writing them off, but they are, look at what they did. They're 7-1 against the 2020 playoff field, and the current status of the current playoff field, they've got a winning record against that. I'm going with the Tennessee Titans and Mike Vrabel as the Coach of the Year candidate. Now, Mike LaFleur, I mean, let's face it, we saw him. What he's done in Green Bay is amazing. Helps having Aaron Rodgers, I'll just
sure
say.
Does.
So, and then Zach Taylor, what he's done in Cincinnati is absolutely amazing. I mean, Joe Burrow is in his second year. Jamar Chase has just been amazingly impressive. I mean, the ability, the yards he's putting up is just, it is must-see TV when they're on the field. So that would be my trio of finalists. But yeah, I'm biased a little bit. I'm going to go with Mike Vrabel because I've seen the revolving door that they've had with this roster from week to week, day to day at times. Guys going on IR, coming off IR, going on COVID lists, injuries, coming off the street. It's been impressive to see how they've gotten guys coached up and ready and on the field making contributing plays. Greg Maben was signed, and he starts and plays a whole game at cornerback. Bobby Hart signed off of Buffalo's practice squad on a Wednesday, and he ends up playing 42 snaps on a Sunday against the Kansas City Chiefs at left tackle. So, I mean, how do you not go back to the coach on that situation?
We always go to you, Teresa, because we know you're the source. Great stuff as always, and great talking to you, and Happy New Year, and we'll chat again soon.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
Yes, ma'am. Teresa Walker on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. We're getting other calls. Ronnie and Jackson's on hold. We'll jump to the phones when we get back. Love to hear from you on this Victory Monday. 615-737-1045. It's Blade and Mickey. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Let's go back to the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Happy Victory Monday to everybody. Also, coming up in hour number 2, Ding Dong of the Week. So get your ding dongs ready. Eric in Nashville usually calls in first. He actually called the Titans postgame show last night and said he was whetting Blaine's appetite for his ding dong on Monday. That's the way he phrased it. So that made me laugh all day yesterday. Ronnie calling from Jackson. Hey, Ronnie, what's going on, man? What's going on? Y'all got snow in Jackson?
Yeah, we got a little bit, mostly ice, but some snow too.
All right, we got a little snow here in Middle Tennessee. What's going on, man?
I just wanted to call and go back to Derrick Henry and ask a question. Maybe you guys will have some input. What I understand is the Jones fracture is more of a stress injury, not really a contact injury. So if he's already going full speed in practice, is it really going to make that much of a difference if he's going full speed in game? I mean, I know game speed is quicker, but, being that it's more of a stress repetition injury, is it really going to matter too much if he goes week 18 or first week of the playoffs?
That's a great question.
Yeah, that's why I kind of like it, not being a doctor. Only all my answers are always based off my own personal experience, whether it was with me personally or watching other players. Mm-hmm. And different injury, but I broke my forearm and I'm playing in a game. And that first game that I played, which was, I think I missed one game and then I played. That first game, the first hit on my forearm with a cast on, I about cried. Like my eyes watered. And then as the game went on, I got a little more comfortable. But the second game, I was completely confident. Now, I'm out there using my arm a lot, whether I'm jamming somebody or I'm tackling somebody. Well, he's using his foot every play. So I felt much more comfortable that second game playing with that injury. And that's why I always talk about the mental aspect of an athlete, having confidence in it. And you can have confidence. I had confidence going into the game, but until you have that experience in a game, that's why I would want to play Henry, even if it was for a temporary deal. I know a lot of people are like, no, just save him till the playoff. Well, I want him to be sharp. I also want him to get that comfort level out the way. And I also want to see how his body, foot responds after the game, going into the next game, and knowing how much I have to use him. If he's fully healthy and been doing all those things, I would probably take that chance to see. If not, I knew we could manage with those the three-headed monster, or how many ever backs you need to replace them going in. I'd rather want to know what I can get out of them than not know what we may finish a game or not.
How would you and Dice talked about this a little bit yesterday, I think, on the pregame show, just if he returns to practice and you want to see, like, okay, how are things? And, like, Dice used the word – Dice has said it before, like, you're going to have to lean on him a little bit, or, it's basically both of you said you're going to have to chip him some. He has to be hit some, right?
Yeah, well, I kind of disagree with Dyson in that, not that he shouldn't be hit. You got to do all those things.
Yeah.
That's still not going to simulate what's going to happen in the game.
Sure.
So I mean, you can do all those things. He can look great in practice.
Yeah.
I've been there, and you can look great. And that doesn't mean everything's going to go great in the game. So until you're actually in a game, do you really get everything? I mean, he needs to be banged on, hit on, make sure he has ball security. That's always something you got to talk about when you're talking about running back when you miss a long period of time. So, yeah, I want to see him in games. You can do all those things, but game is the speed of the game is just so different, and adrenaline rush that you have. He didn't even know he hurt his foot. He kept playing through it in a game. See, that shows you the adrenaline rush there. Right there. So,
well, that goes to you breaking your arm and somebody telling you, hey, your arm is broken.
Yeah, I had no idea when I broke my forearm.
Right.
I had no idea when I broke it. It just coincidental. I was standing next to somebody. It was
the doctor. Yeah. Hey, man.
It said not on your forearm. I thought it was a bruise. I got to see him in the game. And he could look great. I mean, great at practice, and, something still happened. So I think the odds are is you just roll the dice and say, what does he look like? And selfishly, as a player, I think he still wants to get 1,000. I think he wants that on his resume.
What's he, 67 away, I think is the number.
Yeah, not all it takes is like 2 or 3
It's
runs.
63 away, 937.
Texans, it will.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, he has had some runs against the Texans.
Yeah. Yes,
He
he
did
has.
trample him for
And
200
let's
plus.
not forget his style. And when I say his style, it typically takes him a minute to get going. So I want to get that all out the way, and I want him to be fresh. He got fresh legs. I want you to get going immediately. I don't want you to have to ground and pound somebody for a while. I want it sooner than later. I want to see it maybe after 5 carries. That all of a sudden we see the Henry of old, and then now I'm cool and I'm pulling you out. Because I'm only going to give him so many carries in this game. But I that's why I asked Teresa. She would know. All the guys who are reporting every day, who talk to and ask questions to Vrabel. What would he prefer? Not saying that they would be right, but they would have a better idea and feel for it than I would.
Let's do this. When we come back, what did Mike Vrabel say about Derrick Henry possibly returning to practice? We have the audio from Mike Vrabel from earlier today. Also, Wayne is on the line. He wants to talk about his ding-dong. It's ding-dong of the week time. We do that in hour number 2.
Yeah, and also, man, who has been the MVP of the Tennessee Titans this season? 1 week left. I think we already know who those people should be in consideration.
Sure. We got that question out on Blaine and Mickey Twitter. You can also call and you can share us your MVP pick for the Titans. 615-737-1045 or at Blaine and Mickey on Twitter. Hour number 2 up next.
It is 2:02. Good afternoon. I'm Lucas Panzica. The Titans back-to-back AFC South champs after clamping down on the Dolphins to win 34-3 on Sunday in Nissan Stadium. Deontay Foreman, 132 rush yards and a touchdown on 26 carries as the Titans continue to replace Derrick Henry, who remains out with an injury on IR. Mike Vrabel spoke on Henry's chances to return to practice this week.
Yeah, we've discussed it. We'll see where that goes. He's doing some work today, and we'll see when that window opens, and probably make a decision midweek.
The Titans improved to 11-5, got some help from around the league, ended up not needing that Raiders win in Indianapolis to win the division, but the Bengals' 34-31 win over the Chiefs in the final seconds moves the Titans into the 1 seed in the AFC. They now control their own destiny to clinch a first-round bye in the playoffs, only needing a win at the Texans on Sunday. Multiple reports coming out today that Titans outside linebacker Bud Dupree was involved in an altercation at a Walgreens in Nashville. Kayla Anderson of Channel 2 saying the Titans have said we are aware of the situation and are gathering additional information. Monday Night Football tonight, it's Cleveland and Pittsburgh. Steelers still with some life in the playoff hunt. Cleveland has been mathematically eliminated. It is the Steelers hosting kickoff at 7:15. Catch Westwood One coverage right here on The Zone. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Victory Monday edition of Blaine and Mickey is on your radio. That's right. It is a two-time straight AFC South champion Titans Victory Monday show. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Titans got it done. Really just destroyed the Dolphins. If you'd been listening to the pregame show yesterday, you would have heard one Blaine Bishop say, hey, man, the Titans are a much better team than these guys. They're a much better team. They got to win this game. They're a much better team than these guys. You were very casual about it.
Yeah.
And that's funny. There's been 3 or 4 times this year in the postgame show, or maybe on a Friday, where you've just kind of sit.
Show. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, usually on the pregame show. So y'all got to listen to that. Shout out League Company. And Blaine will just casually, we'll just be talking about any particular thing, and Blaine will just offer this up. Hey, man, I've watched these guys. Titans are a better team than these guys. They ain't going to beat these guys.
Yeah. And usually I'm always on the nerd. I'm a little nerd.
I know, but you've been right every time you said it.
Yeah, they were the better team. And I don't want to take anything away from the Dolphins. I never poo-poo on victories against lesser opponents. Well, then we should go back and poo-poo on the Jets who beat the Titans, the Texans, and whoever else beat them, and they should have beat. You never can do that in the NFL. It's a week-to-week league, and if you have your best and who's available and not available, and do you bring your A game? Any week you can be beat. Do not look at records. If they have capable players, specifically on offense, and let alone the quarterback, they're always capable. I see the Jets almost got Tampa Bay right there at the end. And then I watched Wilson. He's much improved now compared to in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
He is a better player today than he was in the beginning, and he's a better player than Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has not gotten better. Now, you could say that's partly coaching, but at the end of the day, some parts of it is him. That he has to get better and figure it out too. Wilson's gotten better, and he looks like he's probably a better natural thrower. Yeah, where Trevor's more the big specimen and a strong arm, but is he a natural thrower or is he a stiff thrower? With power. Because he's the big, rangy guy. So when I saw Wilson, I said, you know what? The Jets, they're on the right track. They got a really good defense. They get a couple more pieces on offense, get the line shored up, stay a little more healthier. I think they got a shot to do drastic improvement. AFC East is on the way up. Is that the New England, Jets, Dolphins, Bills. They're going to be, woo. Yeah. Pretty good.
Ian Rappaport. So Mike Vrabel addressed Derrick Henry today. You heard that in Lucas's update, and if you missed it, we'll play that in just a second. But there's a lot of talk about Derrick Henry possibly returning to practice this week. This is what Ian Rappaport said about the situation.
The odds are pretty good. And ever since Derrick Henry broke his foot, a Jones fracture, broke the fifth metatarsal in his foot, finished the game somehow, and then had surgery on, I believe, November 1st. The thought from the Tennessee Titans has been that they're going to get Derrick Henry back either in very late December / early January or for the playoffs. And now it seems that they do not need him for Week 18. Conceivable he could play this week, but I would say unlikely. But for the playoffs, they are expecting him back. And just think about where this could be headed. As Mike Vrabel alluded to, they could open his 21-day window on Wednesday, have him practice this week, some light stuff, just kind of get ready and either play in a playoff game the next week or play in a playoff game the following week. And you know, Tom, that when a guy has been doing, all he's been doing is rehabbing, getting ready, getting in shape, rehabbing. With no wear and tear, he is going to be in very, very good shape to hit the field at a time when so few players have fresh legs.
So that was Ian Rappaport on Derrick Henry. Now, Mike Vrabel, again, was asked about it today. Obviously, as Titans fans know, this tomorrow will be 9 weeks from his initial surgery. Mike Vrabel was asked about the possibility of him going into that 21-day window. We have our sound effect? Yeah. Now, every time an angel gets its wings, that sound. And also when a Titan returns in the 3-week window off of IR where you can practice, but they don't have to make you active until, they have until the very end of that time where you go back. This is what Mike Vrabel said about the possible return of the King to practice.
Yeah, we've discussed it. We'll see where that goes. He's doing some work today, and we'll see when that window opens, and probably make a decision midweek.
So Mike Vrabel, the man, a few words again today. But
well, Wednesday, so we'll know Wednesday. Yeah, so all the fans, all the
people are going to lose their minds
Wednesday.
Yeah,
people will find out. They will lose their minds. Mick, you're right. I mean, the roof is going to be on fire.
What does Slay say? This place don't have no roof. Derrick Henry's practice ain't going to have no roof because it'll be like him whacking that helmet on a stick and all the things that he does in practice again. And people are going to lose their minds.
Ever-living mind.
And then the question becomes, you put that rascal on an airplane and you fly that rascal to Houston and give him a sack of Whataburger the night before.
Oh,
and then,
look at you.
Superfood, Whataburger. And then I could soak up 5 carries, I think, after a sack of Whataburger.
That superfood may be water and then burger. So I don't know about the superfood, but it is tasty.
Come on, man. You made the Oilers as an 8th-round rookie because you ate Whataburger every day.
Yeah. That might have helped me every other day. I had a rotation there going on as a single youngster.
What was the other place?
Papa Do's, and they had Papa Seafood.
Oh, that's the good stuff.
So I would do Papa Do's, Papa Cedos, Papa Do's, and then Whataburger. That was all right there next to my glorious townhome that that
was a much cheaper option on that third day with Whataburger.
Yeah, it was. Man.
Yeah, $5
just drive through right on the way home, man. I didn't even have to get up and get out of the house anymore.
Yeah, and now they got complicated diet to get served all day over there, and y'all were eating Whataburger in a sack.
Yeah. I was doing a little protein shaking on my own and everything else, but nothing to the level that they have today. That's for sure.
All right, we'll continue to update anything to do with Derrick Henry as the week goes on. As Blaine said, we'll all know on Wednesday if he practices or not. We start doing our Ding Dong of the Week segment. Usually we do that in the second segment of the 2 o'clock hour, but Wayne in Nashville has been holding. Joey from Cross Plains. Let's go ahead and sneak in a couple of bonus Ding Dongs in this segment, courtesy of our friends at Mark Spain Real Estate on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Wayne in Nashville, tell us your Ding Dong for this week as we do every Monday.
Hey, guys. Happy New Year's. Blaine, Mickey.
Happy New Year.
Pleasure to be on the show. Real quick, make it short and sweet. Music City Bowl, Tennessee Volunteers versus the Purdue Boilermakers.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like those refs wanted to leave and get out, get home, right? Tennessee Volunteers clearly won that game. Even Paul Feinbaum himself said it. So Tennessee won that game. Y'all's thoughts and opinions. I appreciate y'all. Happy New Year's.
Thank you, Wayne. The thing at the end was a touchdown. He stuck the ball across the goal line, and then you hear the whistle blow. To me, the play is not over till the whistle blows. But now when the whistle blows, the play is over. That dude's clearly.
Was it the second whistle or was it the first whistle?
Any whistle.
I don't know. I mean, I saw all kind of things on Twitter, and look, I wanted to be a touchdown, but it looked like his forward momentum was stopped.
Yeah.
And then there was a time where he reached the ball. So and then you hear the whistle blow after that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there was another whistle, and that was just when the referee's running in. Is that the second whistle that we actually heard? It's just unfortunate. You got to be clear cut. The refereeing officiating was not very good in that game anyway. It was on both sides, so it happens. But I get it. It looked like he scored, and the whistle blew afterwards. So
that was a great game, too.
Yeah, it was an awesome game.
So
Offensively,
much fun.
people want to see points. Yeah, it was, man, a lot of you see this in a lot of these bowl games, man. No defense, 7-on-7.
Think about this, though. If that had been like 7-6, everybody would have said the game sucked, and it would have been the defense would have been great.
Yeah, it would have been great.
What was the Alabama-Georgia game from several years ago? It finished 6-3 or whatever, and people said that game was terrible. The defense was incredible in that game.
Hey, I have to admit, being a defensive guy, I do love watching points put up.
You like that?
It's a little entertaining.
Okay.
Much more entertaining and exciting and riveting because you don't know where it's going to end. When does it end? And that's kind of, I like watching that. If I was on the team or coaching the team, no, I don't. But for entertainment purposes, yes.
Entertainment purposes.
Yeah, it was awesome to watch. I wish Tennessee could have won, but man, I didn't even realize that. I looked at the record, but the Boilermakers, man, Brom has done a good job. I mean, man, they don't have a lot of elite players on their team. Even the kid who caught for 200 yards, or so. I mean, this guy, he transferred from Marshall because of some situation there at home. I think someone's sick. Everything else, I don't even know if he's an NFL prospect.
They're missing their top 2 receivers.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, Bell is. I know him because he's from Indianapolis and he was Mr. Football. So that was no shocker that he has done what he's done there at Purdue in a 3-year short window. Yeah, so nobody was shocked by that. He's a phenomenal athlete. But then they had their pass rusher mission, but they don't have. I didn't really see. Even the quarterback was a walk-on who then became a scholarship player who was a quick decision maker and had enough talent in his arm to make all the throws that were, in college. So I just didn't see a lot of, NFL talent on their team.
Yeah.
So when you hear, just think about this. When you hear Tennessee football, Purdue football playing in a matchup, nobody thinks that Tennessee is not winning that game.
Oh, no, they're
not
a big
at
favorite.
all, just on the history alone.
Yep.
So it shouldn't have been close like that. If you want to be upset, I know the last play, but they should have beat them, by at least 10 points.
Yeah, and they were big favorites in the game. All right. Ding-dongs are lining up. Joey, Eric in Nashville, who teased his ding-dong last night in the Titans post-game show. Tony in Nashville. Lonzo put his in the Zone TV chat earlier. I've got it. We have our ding-dongs. And my ding-dong this week is a panda-sized ding-dong.
Whoa!
Yeah, that's coming up. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5.
That's what she said.
The Zone. You know, when you hear keep their heads ringing, that means one thing. It's time for Ding Dong of the Week on Blaine and Mickey. Yeah, ring a ding, ding, dong. You can go to markspainrealestate.com and get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing. Or as we like to say, don't be a ding dong. Use Mark Spain. Appreciate them sponsoring this segment. Joey in Cross Plains was kind enough to hold through the break. We'll get Joey, we'll get Eric, we'll get Tony. We'll get your ding dong as well if you want to share it with us. 615-737-1045. Joey, welcome in, and let's hear about your first ding dong of 2022.
All right, my fam. So my ding dong goes to James Franklin.
Wow.
I used to be a fan of his until he left my beloved doors. Got his rear kicked this weekend by Arkansas, which I love it. It's amazing. He should have stayed here, but he's the idiot and the ding dong that left. And to answer another one of your questions earlier, MVP for the team, I'm giving this out as for co-MVPs, and that would be for Ben Jones and the quarterback, because man, them two have taken a beating all year long, and they're still standing. So those are my two Titans MVPs.
I love that because
good
nobody
call.
ever asked me. I was going to go with Ben Jones.
Boom.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. He's been constant, consistent, and Tannehill has been up and down. I know he's the quarterback, but it's almost so easy to give it to Tannehill. But I think the offensive line, but stapled by the consistency of Ben Jones being in every game, still running the football, still getting it done. I got to go with him. He's the quarterback of the O-line, and I don't think he missed a game.
And he's been beat up and just played through everything.
Oh, that dude's a rock. I just want to see when it's super cold, him walk out there with just his shorts on. I was gonna go a little further than that, but we already had a ding dong segment. So.
Well, cold and ding dong.
I love that one though. That's awesome.
Let's get Eric in Nashville next. Eric actually called another show on this station to preview his ding dong last night on the Titans Talkback show. Eric, you teased us with your ding dong.
Yeah. Actually, guys, I'm gonna say that for last. It's the best one. I actually have 3 ding dongs, and all 3 of them involve the Titans.
That's gonna look kind of weird there, man. That 3 ding dongs. That's kind of weird looking.
All of them involve the Titans Dolphins game yesterday.
Okay.
My ding dong number 1 has to go with the lady that did the national anthem yesterday. I don't know what that was on that guitar that she had, electric guitar, whatever that was. I don't know if she was nervous or whatever it was, but it was cringeworthy, and it sounded like she skipped some verses when she was doing that yesterday.
That's her interpretation of the anthem.
She got really nervous, I'm assuming. I didn't hear her, though, but I'm going to trust you on that.
Yeah. Definitely. People at the game, pregame, they'll know what I'm talking about with the national anthem. Number 2, ding dong. The idiot that ran on the field at the end of the third quarter.
I forgot about that. Yes.
I tell you what, I wish somebody would lit him up, like either from the Titans or the Dolphins. I know the power was loud. He got his 5 minutes of fame, but of course after that he'll probably never be allowed in Nissan Stadium again. And guys, my ding dong number 3. This is the one I kind of teased. One of the things that's always interesting is I watch all these gambling shows to hear what they pick on these games, and there's one that's on ESPN called Daily Wager. The only person that picked the Titans was the first lady they had. She said she expected the Titans to roll. She said she was not impressed with who the Dolphins had played. She wasn't impressed with Tua, and she expected the Titans to win easily, which that exactly happened. The other analyst, one, stayed away from the game because he said he didn't trust Tua or Tannehill. Another guy just went with the under, but 2 of the guys picked the Dolphins. And a lady, her name was Anita Marks. This is what she said. She said, I'm on that Tua train. Well, the Tua train is off the tracks, my dear. And I tell you what, she also said, she's called Ryan Tannehill Ryan Tannekill because he said she expected him to throw a pick yesterday. They also talked about the fact that the weather conditions, they expected the Titans to play like they did against the Texans, which they did not do. In fact, the Titans had no turnovers. She thought the Dolphins were going to rack up some sacks. They only got 1 sack yesterday. In fact, the Titans defense had 4 sacks. Tua had 3 turnovers yesterday, and I'm telling you what, I think definitely everybody's off the Tua train, and I think definitely the Dolphins offseason now are going to probably be looking for a quarterback. Y'all take care, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Eric, thank you, man. Just handing out holiday ding-dongs to everybody.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think if the Watson situation there with the Texans gets cleared up to some extent where they can eventually trade him, I think the Dolphins, have a couple first-round picks or something like that. So I think that's where he's going to go. I think, yeah, Tua is in the NFL. He's a borderline start. I would say he's a backup. He's just he doesn't have the arm talent for the NFL. I mean, they literally brought in Jacoby Brissett to throw a deep ball.
Yeah.
I mean, they did that.
Yes.
They're acknowledging that he doesn't have a strong arm. The coaches, they didn't try to hide it. That's it. No more. I love Tua, a great guy and all, but nah, no dinking dunking going on here, people. Yeah.
Let's get Tony in Nashville. Again, if you want to share a ding-dong with us, people are doing it in the Zone TV chat, or you can call us on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline, 615-737-1045. Tony in Nashville, what you got, man? Let's hear about it.
Hey, Happy New Year, fellas.
Happy New Year.
My ding-dong is for Josh Heupel up at Tennessee. I mean, people could talk about the referee's call and all of that. But if you gave 10 coaches in this league the same scenario he had with being on the 45-yard line of the opposing team with 17 seconds to go, full complimentary of timeouts left, and you got one of the better field goal kickers in the league, and all he needs is 10 yards to get into field goal range to win the game. He made decisions like he was behind and he was desperate to catch up, and ended up with a 56-yard field goal. And down on the goal line on that play, he gave himself one option. They hadn't been able to run the ball up the middle on them boys all day long. And if he had with the athletes he had in the back, if he'd have gave himself a run pass option, maybe it would have been a little bit better. I get off and listen.
That's
hard to disagree with that. That's what I was trying to say earlier, is that there were other times where they could have made some decisions and that it could have kind of changed the way the game went. And I think some coaches go into the bowl games a little looser. And when I say that they go for it on fourth down, where in a regular season game they wouldn't have. And I think that's what he was thinking. Like, let's play to win. Let's have some fun out here. Let's go for it. But I want to win then kind of go that far, especially where you're at with the program. You want to finish on a positive note, so you want to do everything you can to try to win the game. In his mind, he may have thought he did, but I thought there were some critical decisions there that kind of are questionable. And it's naturally when they don't work, then they're always going to be questionable.
Right. Yeah, that offense has no problem throwing it deep anytime ever. Yeah. Even when it's not the most feasible play. Hey, man, we're going to throw it deep. That's who we are, what we do. And they threw deep. Sometimes there's like, hey, man, you got timeouts and a little bit of time. You can throw right in the middle of the field.
Yeah, it was open. And even with Hooker, if we want to be critical there in the first quarter, right there in the first couple of drives, he missed some guys that were open that he threw to. He overthrew. So there was just a lot of opportunity there where the game should have at some point got out of reach, where Purdue should have been a lot more desperate. They just kept hanging around and kept believing. You got to know that they were going to be mentally tough because of the teams that they beat.
Yeah.
They beat some high-level teams in the Big Ten, and they took them down, and that team had a lot of fight. They wanted to win that game just as much as Tennessee did. And then, most of the Purdue fan base actually traveled pretty well, but it was definitely more so Tennessee, and it felt like it was a home game. And I think that they rallied around that.
Yeah, anytime somebody says, no, nobody cares, there's too many boys, whatever, watch that game. Tell me both teams didn't want to win it. Stadium full of fans, both teams wanted to win that game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And that leads me to my ding-dong.
Let's do it.
Actually, because, with all the rationale of if college players should play or not play in bowl games, especially if you're not in the playoff, the Final Four teams, and then if something bad happens, you got to know, I'm sure these guys are getting great advice. The risk reward, for it, and Matt Corral has been the poster child for that. And whether you play and the chance of you getting injured are highly likely, and and that you just hope you can get through games. Other players played, didn't get injured, and some did, and some a little more severe than others. And how much that is, but I don't like people attacking them whether they play or don't play. It's their personal decision. Live with it, respect it, and keep it moving regardless. I mean, the players have a lot at risk at stake in millions of dollars, especially if they're a top, 2 or 3 round player. they're going to be NFL, good players. You at least initially think that, and have a lot of money at stake. So if they want to play, that's up to them. Must know the risk. If they don't, then that's okay too. It's their decision, their personal decision, and keep it moving. Don't go after the players for not or for people saying that they did play. This stop that, please. Yeah, it's enough. It's their decision. So if they got to live with their decision.
Amen to all of that. Well said. More ding-dong phone calls, man. People, it's 2022, and people are calling in to share a ding-dong with Blaine, Mickey, and Lucas. Charlie and Franklin up next. Hey, Charlie.
Yeah, I hate to say this, but the city of Nashville covered their greens. Okay, this is a ding-dong. The city of our golf courses in Nashville closed their greens on Thursday because they needed to cover them yesterday. So for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, when it was 70 degrees, not one soul could play golf in Nashville on our public courses. Somebody ought to be responsible for that. I talked to Forest Crossing or Franklin Bridge, and they had a record day of golf on Saturday. That's my ding-dong.
Whoa. Avid golfer, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah, how could they do that?
Hole-in-one ding-dong.
Yeah. How could they close the greens when it was 70 degrees?
3 days to cover them up.
Even if you decided to close your greens, you send out a mass email that we changed our mind to reopen, and the gates will flood open for golfers and golf balls going all over the place. So, yeah, I completely agree with that, being that I'm just a novice golfer.
Yeah, me neither. But 3 days of 70 degrees and no golf to prepare for, today.
I want him to follow that up and to say that they actually opened it up on Saturday, Sunday when it was horrible.
He called places. They broke records. Out in Vegas. Dang, I didn't see that ding-dong coming.
Yeah.
Corey in Hendersonville up next.
Yeah, she didn't either.
Hey, Corey, what you got, man?
Not much, Mickey. Let me ask you a question. Do you guys believe that there's meaning in a name?
That there's who with the what?
That there's meaning in a name. In other words, if I tried calling you Mikey, Mikey's not your name, correct?
Sure, yes. That is not my name.
Okay. So for your caller that has called in the past few weeks that you allowed on the postgame show that keeps on calling Deontay Freeman, that is my ding-dong for the week. We get on the people because they mispronounce Mariota's name all the time.
Yes.
Pronounce the guy's name right.
Corey, I agree, man. We get so many phone calls. This is
we actually kind of ignore it. I do because so many people call in. You don't know if they've been tipsy or not.
Right.
We're trying to have fun and you're really trying to address their question and just kind of keep it moving. Really, to be honest. But I got what you're saying. Try to get the name right. Yeah.
It's for me. And Corey, hey, man.
We'll laugh and look at each other when we're all three on there like, he didn't even say his name right. But, we're not here to, mess with people.
But it's like 50 phone calls, 40 phone. We've had more phone calls this year than in all the other years combined total that I've hosted a Titans pre- and post-game show with you and Dr. Smooth. It's just been amazing, the response to that show, and we love it. But, yeah, stuff like that, we just get so many calls, we typically keep it moving. But
people are still getting Mariota wrong.
Still, to this day.
And even national guys.
It's all national guys worse than anybody.
They get it wrong. So, it is this, hey, it is what it is.
Buddy in Mount Juliet next up with the ding dong. What's going on, buddy?
I stick with numbers.
I got ding dong for Gentry Estes. I think he thought he was saying what everybody wanted to hear, but the referees got it wrong. And you can debate it and debate it and debate it. The only thing that matters is that he moved the ball before the whistle blew. And he wasn't on the ground. He was laying on top of another guy.
Yes, he was.
And they said after they talked about it, they told Heupel that they couldn't do anything about it. That they were right, but they couldn't do anything about it. Well, I'm going to tell you, I don't think that's right. I just don't. And I would sue Estes there for about $20 million to hurt my career if I were Heupel.
Well, buddy, appreciate the phone call. He's talking about Tennessee and Ryder. I mean, they write what they see, and I didn't see the particular article by Gentry. I didn't see it, but I know I enjoy reading his writing when I get a chance. You can't really sue a writer for giving his opinion.
I wonder if a fan ever sued a coach for making a bad decision. That's kind of like what he's saying do. A writer writing about what he thought he saw.
I mean, haven't people sued people because their coffee was hot and they spilled it on themselves? Yeah, you can.
So, I mean, that's kind of what it is. I mean, there was a lot of plays in that game that you could question that whether it was referee calls or calls by the coaches on play calling or, that they should have played better or should have won the game. Let's just say that. I thought Tennessee was the better team throughout, and there were some questionable calls by the coaching staff throughout the game that I didn't too much. I thought it hurt them. Mm-hmm. And also some great play calls, too.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's get Tony. This has been the most ding-dongs we've ever had thrown at us in a day here. This has been amazing, the ding-dong traffic. People dropping them in the Zone TV chat and everywhere else. We're trying to just keep up with all the ding-dongs here. Tony in Nashville next up with the ding-dong on Blaine and Mickey.
Yeah, that's Lucas Vistic.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Or is it
Happy
afternoon?
Day.
AFC
Yeah.
champions.
AFC champs, that's right.
Oh, yeah. Tighten up.
My ding-dong is the NFL for not giving the Titans their proper due.
Mm-hmm.
They're more worried about Mahomes losing and the Bengals winning than they were the Titans becoming number one in the NFL.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, they've been tweeting about the Colts running back winning MVP. Thank you, Tony. Over and over. They did it again Sunday morning.
Yeah. I don't know where this is all coming from. I have no idea. I don't know if it's just because they have sexier players. And when I say that, I'm talking about bigger name guys. Now that the king is down, I think nationally, the national guys just kind of look at Tannehill as a serviceable quarterback. They're not fun to watch. So, there's not a lot of points put on the board. I think all those things kind of play into it because it's really they're beating you win it on the field. They beat everybody. I mean, to an extent, all the high profile teams. So I think that's what it's all about here. The Titans get to show out. I'm cool with them doing that because that's going to keep my guys I'm coaching a little edgy.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. They watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they know they're getting disrespected. So, let's lose that to our advantage.
Oh, I love it, too. Keep disrespecting them. Yeah, go ahead.
We just keep chalking up the W's.
Amen to that. Keep chalking up the ding-dongs. We'll do that in the final segment of the show. Lucas will share his with you. I will share mine. T in Nashville is on the line again. They're everywhere. Ding-dongs are all around us. We'll finish up this Monday show with more ding-dong of the week. Your phone calls next. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5. The Zone, people weighing in on the Zone TV chat with ding-dongs. Right off the bat, Lonzo, his ding-dong of the week is for people who say, let's expand the college football playoff games so we can see more games like this past weekend, says Lonzo.
Okay.
Top tier says ding-dong of the week is Aaron Schatz with his nonsense analytical system that the Titans would be considered the worst number 1 seed ever. Later, he reveals his system doesn't adjust for injuries. It's nonsense. Yeah, a lot of people calling him a ding-dong. And then there was one from something about a burger. His name was cut off in the Zone TV chat.
About Whataburger?
No, it was not Whataburger, although they're about to open up in Middle Tennessee. I've yet to get my invite to the grand opening. He says, I want to ding-dong all of the Cleveland Browns for hyping up Jadeveon the Clowney.
No.
John Michael says AB has to be the ding-dong of the week. He might be the ding-dong of the century.
Yeah, he's the ding-dong of the season. I didn't bring him up because I really wanted to, but I don't want to make fun of him because I know I'll probably go down that road. He's got to need help. I don't even – people were trying to make excuses for him initially that, he had incentives in his contract. Well, he still has one more week. He still could have got him incentives.
Like 3 catches?
That makes no sense. Why did he get so upset? No, something ain't right. Then he going to drop an album or something later in the day. Look, just go get help. And then when I was listening to Tom Brady try to filter through how to answer that question, he sounded like he was in the 5th grade. Like, well, we're just praying for him.
Yeah,
and hope he's okay. I was like, man, they put him in a bind there.
All right, we'll get to Lucas and me real quickly. Let's run through these ding dong calls that we have on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. T in Nashville up next. Hello, T.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good.
So look, my ding dong is myself because I went on FanDuel and I put a 6-way parlay, and one of the parlays I thought that the Titans for some reason wasn't going to score more than 13 points, and I totally failed on that, and I would have hit for like $600. But I mean, it's okay because I'm glad they won by that much. They were supposed to win by that much, but I don't know why I was letting everybody tell me that the defense was going to stop the Titans. But yeah, that's it. So tighten up.
Oh, okay.
T throwing himself under the bus.
Has to be honest with himself. He won't make the mistake again.
He will not. Tom in Nashville up next. I think he's got a bold prediction instead of a ding dong, but maybe it will make a ding dong out of him. What's up, Tom?
Hey, man, what if we'd all fell in our lap Saturday night, where KC gets upset by Denver at Mile High? I mean, they played them close at Arrowhead.
They did. They have a good defense, too, yeah.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter. As long as the Titans beat the Texans, then they keep it moving.
Because even if the Chiefs win, it's tied, Titans win tiebreaker.
Because they beat them head-to-head.
Head-to-head.
Sure did. Greg in Columbia with a final ding-dong on the phones today. What's up, Greg?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good.
Doing great this afternoon.
I want to say Happy New Year to all you guys.
Right back at you.
22. Wow.
Hey, my ding-dong goes to the SEC officiating department. Couple of points here. You might have seen the latest Alabama game. Official came in with an Alabama bag around his neck. You don't do that as an official. And then the Auburn game against Alabama. We would have another team in the playoffs going for the championship next week than the Crimson Tide. Alabama had them on their own 1-yard line in the end zone. The quarterback goes back to pass. The right side of the lineman's got his arm wrapped around the neck of an Auburn rusher. And right behind where this picture was taken, right behind the quarterback, the referee is standing somewhere in that area. How did he miss? I mean, it stuck out like a sore thumb. That would have been a safety in the end zone. Auburn would have won that game if that would have happened.
Boy, that was a heck of a game, man.
That was a great game. But once again, hey, guy might have slid and stayed in bounds. Whatever you put in the referee's hands, man, I just feel like you're doomed to lose.
Yeah.
Man.
let's put this ding dong in Lucas Panzica's hands. Lucas, your ding dong of the week.
Got your ding dong in your hands.
Well, to build off of that, my ding dong are odds makers in Vegas for making Georgia the national championship favorite against Alabama.
Yes, great one there. 2.5 points.
Have we 2.5 points? Have we learned nothing? Have we learned nothing? Nick Saban has had to manufacture rat poison over the last couple weeks and somehow brainwashes players into thinking that they're underdogs against Cincinnati. He doesn't have to do it. It's yummy rat poison again, like it was before the SEC championship.
Yummy,
man, that was a great ding dong. And I'm not a. This is why I don't bet, because I don't understand that whole part. They beat them head to head. Why is Georgia still the favorite?
Yeah. Looking better in the semifinal, beating a better opponent because Georgia did. But I agree with you. I mean,
I feel like Nick Saban gave him a call and said, "Hey, man, make sure you don't have us favored. Make it even or us lose."
Oh, 100%. I mean, they're thrilled they're not favored. But come on, we did this like 2-3 weeks ago, people.
They have to. I mean, come on.
A final ding dong for me.
You got a final?
Yeah, I hadn't given my ding dong yet. So Isaiah Wilson, who washed out here, washed out with the Dolphins, got another chance with the Giants.
Yeah.
They got really low on offensive linemen. This actually happened late last week. Their offensive line coach asked about how practice squad offensive lineman Isaiah Wilson has been behind the scenes as far as professionalism. His position coach said, next question.
So you're saying things haven't changed?
He's still a ding-dong.
Oh,
still a ding-dong. You get every chance, as you always say. If you're first-round pick, you get chance after chance after chance
talent.
after chance. It's a first-round ding-dong.
Man, and guess what? He will always be a ding-dong. If you get this many chances and you still haven't woke up, you need to go talk to AB. I couldn't resist. You got to go talk to AB, man.
All right, we got to get out of here. Y'all got to go talk to 3HL because they are coming up next. So, man, beautiful Monday, Victory Monday. Woo!
Yeah, no doubt. And as always, Mickey.
You know it.
We love you guys.
Show do. Peace.